Good morning. I am so excited you are here today. It's always fun because if I'm preaching, it means it's the last Sunday of the month, which actually means in this case, it is the last day of February, which I feel like I blinked and it was March 16th of 2020. So we're here either way. So I just want to say as we gather together and go into this morning's message, I want to say I hope you take a deep breath. Ready? All right. I hope that as you come, you just get a minute right now to set everything aside, to focus and listen, and just stop thinking for a minute, maybe. Welcome to the second Sunday in Lent. So for today's message, we're going to look at John 1:43 through 50. I love the book of John because it's so fast paced. The beginning of John, the author wastes no time. Right out the gate, he lets you know who Jesus is. He lets you know how this started. He jumps to Jesus' baptism, and right away, the disciples are called. He doesn't go into the miracle of Jesus' birth and the lineage like Matthew or Luke, and he's actually pretty similar to more so of Mark's style of writing as far as gospels go. So as we continue through Lent, which ultimately brings us to the cross of Good Friday and the celebration that is Jesus' resurrection on Easter Sunday, there's these 40 days and nights right in the middle. And this is where we find the time to reflect on Jesus's actual ministry and really the story that is Jesus's life. Um, I personally love this particular call story. So I'm going to read this morning's scripture reading. So the next day, Jesus decided to leave for Galilee. Finding Philip, he said to him, "Follow me." Philip, like Andrew and Peter, was from the town of Bethsaida. Philip found Nathanael and told him, "We have found the one Moses wrote about in the law, the one whom prophets also wrote, Jesus of Nazareth, the son of Joseph." Nazareth? What good can come from there? Nathanael asked. "Come and see," said Philip. When Jesus saw Nathanael approaching, he said to him, "Here truly is an Israelite in whom there is no deceit." "How do you know me?" Nathanael asked. And Jesus answered, "I saw you while you were still under the fig tree before Philip called you." Nathanael declared, "Rabbi, you are the Son of God. You are the King of Israel." And Jesus said, "You believe because I told you I saw you under the fig tree. You will see greater things than that." Now, I personally, again, I love this call story because Nathanael is one of Jesus's 12 disciples. However, there is not really that much written about him. See, we know about Peter, certainly, and there's Thomas. We certainly know about Thomas. Remember, he doubted a lot. Um, we know about Judas, but Nathanael only gets one story, and this is it. Just like Thomas, who doubted Jesus's resurrection, I find a kindred spirit in Nathanael. Here he is under the fig tree, minding his own business, when Philip comes over and says, "Don't freak out, no big deal. But we found the Messiah. The prophets told us he was coming, and guess what? He's here and he came out of Nazareth." Well, Nathanael's reaction, you can almost hear the mockery. Nazareth? What good can come from Nazareth? Don't you know? That's the other side of the tracks. How is it possible? There's no way the Messiah came from there. Philip persists. He doesn't just accept them. He invites him and he says, and I imagine the tone's pretty similar to this, "What do you have to lose?" Now, let's take verses 47 and 50 and combine the two. Jesus says, "Hey, I saw you under the fig tree." Now, for this to be the one interaction to believe with his one interaction with Jesus, he believes, follows him, drops everything, changes his life upside down, and goes on this journey with Jesus and 12 other guys. Okay. I'm going to imagine for that to happen that he had to be pretty far off and that this fig tree was a while away. Jesus's first words were, "Here is a true Israelite in which there's no deceit, no deceit." Here's someone who questions and pushes. Now, I spent a lot of time on this verse reading a few commentaries, but the interpretation of 47 I like the best is that this was a joke. He jokes about the fact, "Yeah, I'm from Nazareth, but you're judging me from where I am without knowing who I am." He says this with a chuckle, I imagine, just in case you care. Well, Jesus calls him out and he says, hey, I heard what you said. So how does Nathanael respond? Wow, you must actually be the king of Israel. He actually calls him rabbi. He starts with saying teacher. He calls him an educator first and a king second. Because isn't that really who Jesus was? He was the Messiah. He's the Son of God. Theologically, I strongly believe in free will, and I believe that there are choices presented to us. There are circumstances that we cannot control. For instance, the fact that this congregation meets online, I don't think this was our first choice, but here we are. It's been almost a year. Those are circumstances that we can't control, but we still have the choice. We have the choice to come, we have the choice to grow, we have the choice to change. As humans, we have the choice over our destiny. And I imagine with Jesus, as he made the decision to become human and to come to earth, I kind of imagine it's a conversation between a parent and a child, and a plan is hatched, a plan to save humanity. Now, if you've heard me share a message before, you know that I experience God a lot through the media. I am a visual person. So, in typical fashion, I am going to pause for a minute and show a video clip.
Mackenzie Allen Phillips. My. Look at you.
Do I know you?
Not very well, but we can work on that. I've been so looking forward to this, to finally see you face to face. Can I take your coat? And that gun. We wouldn't want anyone to get hurt now, would we? I understand. It's confusing. We all do. We will do this on your terms and time. How about some introductions? I'm Alusia. I have a lot of names, but that's one of my favorites. Or if you want, you can call me what Nan does.
You know Nan?
Oh, yes. Very well.
You saying that you're
I am.
the I am?
I am that I am. Look at that. Already quoting scripture. You bet my son.
Ready to see you, Mac. Your son? Of course.
And Sarah,
Sarah who?
Sari. It means a breath of wind.
Right. So, which one of you is...
I am. And you have no idea how much I love you.
Welcome back. So my faith was highly influenced by The Shack. I remember I read the book first. Personally, I'm a book first, movie second. But the movie is really good. I personally found it relatable on a level, on a lot of levels, because it humanizes the Trinity, which can be really difficult to understand. And I love the comfort of this scene, the familiarity of the home, the openness of the first moment where I Am recognizes Mac by name. They call it from the beginning. We don't know each other well, but we're going to change that. In John 1, when Jesus calls Nathanael, he ends it by saying, "You will see greater things than these." Was he wrong? Was he not correct? 2,000 years later, and here we are. The story of Christianity has continued. It started with the Jewish tradition. It flipped down, upside down history when the Messiah came. And still today, the story and the accounts of Jesus' time on earth still continues. Christian tradition has passed down from generation to generation through the miracle of storytelling and community. As you get ready to go into the month of March, as we look to vaccines rolling out and the warm summer months and longer days are coming, each day is a little longer. I hope you take these next few weeks of Lent to get to know I am better. Grab a Bible. Maybe it's worn and ragged from years of comfort. Maybe you don't love reading, and so an audiobook and walking is the way to go. Maybe if you don't have a Bible, reach out to me because I will make sure you get one if you want to read it. Grab a Bible and a cup of coffee or tea and spend some time with I am. Start with a gospel, any of them. Personally, Mark is my favorite gospel if you aren't sure where to start. And just think about it. Listen to what Jesus says, and more importantly, what he does and where he goes. Think of just how human he was and start there. Jesus was a teacher. Nathanael, he recognized Jesus for who he truly was, I believe. It was for what he was worth. He came to teach us about the Father, about God in heaven, the Creator. And then he took it a little step further by offering us the peace of mind by living a blameless life and sacrificing himself. We know he faced temptation just like we do. He experienced what we experience. He started as a baby and he grew just like we continue to and have already done. Be like Nathanael. Question who Jesus is. Question where he came from. Question why he came. And then take the time to see what's happening next. What greater things are still to come? What is God doing in your life today? What is he doing in my life? What is the story of history and where we're at now? I am so grateful for each of you coming and watching this after the fact. There are a lot of things that you could be doing with your time, and yet you're here. Maybe you're here because it's tradition and you've always gone to church. Maybe it's because loneliness, hope, or maybe it's just something to do. No matter the reason, I am glad you're here. I always end my sermon with a minute of reflection, and this week's no different. So I want you to just imagine for a minute, close your eyes in this minute, and imagine you're sitting down with Jesus with a warm cup of something delicious or a tall glass of wine. And what would you want to know? Not just know, but how would you ask it? What is one burning question that you have? So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to turn off my screen, and I'm going to give us a minute. I want you to take the time and the question you asked, and I want you to think about it this week. Maybe do a Google search and see if anyone else has asked this question, or maybe you've uncovered some great mystery and this is a question no one's ever thought of, in which case, good on you, and please share that question. But spend just a few moments in silence throughout the week and consider what lessons God is trying to teach you. I am so grateful for each of you. I thank you for your time and thank you for being my neighbor near and far. And again, as you go into this week, just take a minute to see what God's going to do next. Take some time to learn. I am, again, so grateful for all of you, and I hope you have a great week ahead.